Because what we want to do here is we want the client to feel completely satisfied and not just like, satisfied 90% of the time. Okay, so use your time whenever you're performing effleurage to give an even amount of pressure throughout your hands, and so the client feels like you're actually engaging with him and not just wasting time. So in massage, there's these things I like to call junk moves. And junk moves are anything that doesn't contribute to the overall experience of the massage. If it doesn't match with like the narrative, then it has no value. And since our clients are paying a lot of money to experience what I think should be a transformable massage every time, we want to make sure that we give that to them. Okay? So what we're looking at here, whenever I perform massages, my techniques are dependent upon how the client lays first. Okay, so when this client here got onto the table, he decided to put his arms forward onto the sling. And that means that I need to adjust to where he has put his body, instead of moving his arms where I want it to be so that it matches some kind of formula that I want to do. Now, the reason I do that is because the client is here so that they can be the center of the universe, and they're communicating to you in a lot of different ways based upon where they put their arms. They could have put their arms laying off the side of the table here. They could have put their arms down here, but they chose not to. Instead, they're here. So I'm going to adjust to match what they need. Now, whenever I perform massage, I do what are called micro formulas. I have hundreds of little micro formulas that I've created and then memorized so that whenever the client comes to me, I can pull from those micro formulas in order to help them achieve their desired results. A micro formula is a collection of techniques that are always placed together. And so you could have a completely different, every massage will be different from the other by just doing those micro formulas either in a different sequence or just using different micro formulas in the process of it. That's why I say that it's essential for any licensed massage therapist or any student who's going to massage to practice massage when not performing, like you're not doing it professionally. There's a lot that you can remember whenever you're working on a client, but it's completely different whenever you are practicing in your downtime. So with this, what do I have to work with, right? So you can't really see some of the techniques from that side, but there's a technique that we're going to do. We're going to go up through here, and we're going to use the rule of 3. So with the rule of 3, you're going to go 1, 2, and then 3, and then I would go back 1, 2, and 3. So that's what I'm going to do on this side here. Now, one of the other big aspects to really cover here is body mechanics. There's a lot of bullshit body mechanics in the industry. Your teachers are going to tell you to take the horse stance. They're going to tell you to take the bow stance. They're going to say you have to have like your body in alignment. What I would suggest is ignore almost all of that, because almost all of it is garbage. The body is plastic. It's going to adjust to however it is that you need to be, and instead of meeting the needs of what someone else is telling you that your body needs, instead do what your body is telling you. So I sit whenever I do massage, and the reason why I sit is because I got one lung and I can't breathe well. So if I'm standing up, I'll just gas out really quickly. It's not better than standing, and standing is not better than sitting. Both of them just have different techniques that you can employ in different ways. So do what feels good to your body, not what your teacher says is good for your body. All right? And if it hurts one time, don't do it again, because if you do it twice, you'll do it 1,000 times. Now, another detail I'm going to say is whenever you're performing massage, do your best to create a single line. And what I mean by that is you want to minimize the amount that you pull your hands off of the client. So I'm going to kind of wheel over here, and you can see it from this side. See how it's one continuous line. That helps the client feel connected, and they can feel the seconds between seconds. Now I'm adjusting Only simply so you can kind of see what I'm doing, because I don't want to bump into the tripod. Okay? But even if I'm doing it like that, I'm still making sure that I am not putting myself in any positions that would be uncomfortable. This technique is one that I call blooming. And the reason is because each movement replicates one of the petals of a flower. You can't quite see it from that side, but you're going to see it whenever I come to the other side. Throughout your session, you want to communicate with your client to make sure that they're enjoying themselves. Try to avoid questions that will lead to them just saying like, it's okay, it's fine, because they're not really telling you anything. Or if you do, give it if you want them to give like simple answers like that, make sure that the question that you're asking is going to get valuable information. You could say something like, does that feel good?
Yes.
So in that one you get value. If I say, how does that feel? Like I'll ask you, how does that feel to you?
That feels good.
Right? Feels good is, a lot of times you're going to get fine. Oh, it's okay. It feels okay. And you're like, well, okay is not what we want. It's not really telling you anything. Another thing is make sure that you allow yourself to switch off on hands. There's a lot of therapists who will perform their entire massage with one hand. And they go home and their body's hurting. They're like, I don't understand. I'm doing all these proper body mechanics, but oh my goodness, I hurt so much. And then you watch them perform a massage and you're like, dude, it's because you're freaking using one hand for the whole session. That's why your body's hurting like heck. Now there's limited work we could do. There's a lot of different moves that we can do with the arms forward. Like, we go in with little circular movements like this. And it feels good, but anything that you do on one side, you need to make sure that you do on the other side. And the reason is because the angle that you're taking it will change and it augments the sensation of the massage. Now, anytime during the massage the client ever says, oh, that feels so good, what you want to do is then double the amount of times that you have done that you're performing that technique. Because that might be the reason why they're there in the first place. The pressure good?
That's good. You could probably go 30% harder before it was too much.
So what we're looking for is that, like the client's asking for, he says we could probably go like, we're saying like 30% more, right? So we could go that amount and we'll make adjustments. And the thing with it is that we don't want it to be too much. At most we want it to like hurt so good but we don't want it to hurt so good the entire time. It's got to be with like real specific work that you're doing, that you want to create that, have an intention. Why are you doing it this way? Every technique that you do, you should have a reason. Why are you doing it? Because if you're not, then you're not really in the session. You're not really present. You're not focusing on your client. You're now making it more about yourself than you are about them. Because when you're performing a massage, it is to do it solely for them. It's not about you. You can protect yourself, but it's their opportunity to be the center of the universe. And in life, it's very rare that someone actually feels like the center of the universe. Even in their own relationships, amongst friends and romantic partners, they're both vying for that attention, and everyone always feels like they're missing something. But in a massage, you are the center, and you should be the center, and they're paying for it. They're paying for the highest degree of instant gratification that is healthy and ethical. So even in the transitions, you want to maintain contact and create a fullness to that touch. Doesn't mean that you're exerting like a whole bunch of energy. So the reason why I do this technique at this point is because it helps with the transition. It minimizes the chance that you're going to injure yourself from walking along the spine right here. And it feels really good. It helps with that seamlessness. You're still walking along, you're still creating that one single line. Your arm gets tired, you shift off. A lot of times if you do it correctly, the client won't even notice. And that's the goal of transitions. You want to make them so seamless that the client doesn't notice that you're switching off hands. And another factor that you want to do is you want to do your transitions in a way they don't even feel like transitions. They just feel like constant massage techniques the whole time. So this is a transition between this other part of the microformula. It doesn't feel like one, it actually feels like I'm doing some kind of technique. And it is because we want it to feel good, but it's just a transition. If you feel like there's not enough oil, use your free hand to get some more oil. That way you're not stopping.